Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we sift through stacks of research and therapeutic insights to give you the clear takeaways you need. Today, we are undertaking a very personal deep dive, healing generational trauma and our emotional legacies. And the most powerful, immediate discovery from all our sources is this. You are not broken. You are simply carrying around generations of pain that were never meant to be yours.
And what's so crucial to get right away is that this inherited pain, though it's complex, it's not a life sentence, the central thesis really is that healing is profoundly accessible, and it's never too late to start.
Right, people think they've missed the window.
They do. We even read about an 84-year-old patient who started this work and just completely altered their outlook on life.
That's so inspiring. It just dismantles that whole idea that our history is fixed.
Exactly. Our mission today is to help you see the possibility of existing within your family in a way that feels, well, genuinely nourishing.
So taking the good parts.
Taking the good parts, the love that you can, and with kindness, just strategically leaving the destructive emotional legacies behind.
And what's fascinating is that this all comes down to individual power. When you take responsibility for your own healing journey, it dramatically decreases your own suffering. But it also models a totally different, positive path for the next generations who are watching you.
That individual choice is the engine. So today, we're going to unpack those first courageous steps to break the cycle, understand those tricky family dynamics, and, critically, give you some concrete tools to regulate your nervous system right now.
Okay, let's unpack that first major hurdle. Our sources all agree the hardest step is simple acknowledgement. Just naming the truth of your experience, taking those family secrets out of the closet.
But not for the world, for yourself.
For you, you have to see it to heal it.
And naming that truth leads us right into something critical. Grieving the illusion. It's this necessary work of mourning the parent or the family you desperately wished you had. We call it the false family.
That sounds exhausting. Why grieve something that never actually existed?
Because if you're still clinging to that idealized version, you can't see the reality of your past. You have to mourn that imaginary family to finally step into the reality of the true family.
The flawed human beings.
The flawed human beings who, may not be ready to listen or validate your wounds. You stop wasting energy looking for milk at the hardware store.
That is a great analogy. And this often hits hardest when we try to share our pain with our siblings. We think we grew up in the same house, right?
But no two siblings ever truly exist in the same household.
How so?
Well, even if you shared a room, birth order, gender, temperament, it means you had completely different lives. You were often interacting with different versions of your parents.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
So the key takeaway here is your siblings probably won't be able to mirror or validate your experience.
So where does that validation come from?
It has to become an internal job, an auto-validation process. The only permission you need is from yourself.
But let's delve into one of the most common dynamics. The parentified child. Usually the eldest daughter, the family fixer.
Yes. This child is effectively robbed of their own childhood. They take on all these burdens, acting as an emotional buffer, sometimes a literal parent.
They're feeding siblings, settling fights.
Constantly anticipating what everyone else needs.
And the tragic part is, while they're tucking everyone else in, no one is tucking them in. How does that show up in adulthood?
Well, they learned very early on that their value is tied only to service, to being useful.
So they deny their own needs.
Completely. And this generalizes into everything. They seek out relationships, jobs where they can just keep serving because they never learn the language of their own needs.
So what's the goal of healing that? What's possible?
Healing this finally allows a person to experience reciprocity in relationships.
The two-way street.
A two-way street. And even more powerfully, it gives them the ability to receive without guilt. They learn they're worthy of being cared for just by existing, not just by giving.
Okay, so if you spent your childhood constantly on alert, smoothing over conflict, reading moods, what does that adult fixer feel like?
That person is just fundamentally running on empty.
Chronically exhausted.
Chronically exhausted, severe mental fog, a total lack of presence. Your nervous system never gets to truly rest. And rest isn't a luxury. It's a prerequisite for being well.
Let's talk about how this becomes physical. You mentioned seeing the humanity in your parents, believing they did the best they could with the tools they had. Why is that reframing so important for physical health?
It is so vital because the alternative thought that a parent knew better and chose not to do better is maybe the most damaging cognitive loop you can run.
It feels like intentional malice.
Exactly. Intentional rejection. Holding space for their humanity doesn't excuse anything, but allows you to reframe the wounds as being unintentionally passed down. And that shift relieves the immense allostatic load on your system.
Allostatic load. Can you break that down for us?
Absolutely. Think of it as your body constantly trying to find balance in response to stress. When that stress is chronic and unexpressed, that continuous effort, the allostatic load, just overwhelms and exhausts your immune system.
Which brings us right to the gendered responses to all this pain.
We see a really clear pattern. Women often tend toward emotional suppression, internalizing it
And that ties to chronic conditions.
directly. The constant inflammation from stress markers can lead to things like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, even type 2 diabetes.
And what about men? What's the pattern there?
Men, because of societal conditioning, tend to externalize pain as anger or aggression or just a complete emotional shutdown,
Hiding deeper feelings.
hiding hurt, sadness, grief. And the tragedies in the numbers. Women make up 75 to 80% of therapy patients.
Wow.
It just highlights how urgent it is to share these resources, to let the men in your life know it's okay to seek help.
So as a cycle breaker starts this work, they inevitably hit a wall of backlash. The "you're exaggerating" or "get over it" comments.
And that backlash is almost always the other person's unaddressed shame coming out. Shame loves closed doors.
So when you shine a light on your wound.
You're inadvertently shining a light on their unhealed parts, and they aren't ready for that. You have to remember, family can only meet you at their level of healing.
It's a profound irony, isn't it? We look to the person who hurt us for the healing.
Precisely. And they are the least equipped to provide it. The healing has to pivot from an external search to an internal job.
Okay, let's shift from theory to the practical. The sources really emphasize that healing doesn't happen in one big breakthrough. It happens in these tiny micro moments throughout the day.
Yes, this is the core of the work. It's all about nervous system regulation.
And engaging the ventral vagal nerve.
That's the one. It's the body's primary brake pedal. When you activate it, you signal safety, rest, and calm to your entire system.
So what are the simplest, most accessible tools for that?
My absolute favorite, and it's backed by all the research, is rocking.
Rocking, like in a rocking chair.
Yep, or a hammock, or just gently swaying. It's primal. It tells your body on a cellular level, I am safe right now.
It's why we rock babies to sleep.
Exactly.
Okay, what's another one we can use anywhere?
Humming, or even singing. That vibration in your chest and throat directly stimulates the vagus nerve. You can hum while you're driving, doing dishes.
And the third tool, for when you feel that immediate trigger, the bad email, the traffic.
Deep breathing. But here's the non-negotiable part. You need at least 5 full minutes.
Not just a few deep breaths.
No.
Yeah.
It takes 5 minutes for your nervous system to actually catch up, process the stress, and recalibrate back towards safety. You have to claim those 5 minutes.
So the goal isn't to add more to your to-do list. It's about integration.
Total integration. Visualize peace while you brush your teeth. Say an affirmation while you make pancakes. These aren't just little self-care moments.
These are acts of healing.
100%. They teach your nervous system that safety is the default, not the exception.
And this journey also involves modeling a different way forward. What's the greatest skill a cycle breaker can model for the next generation?
Emotional literacy. It just looks like using clear language, naming your emotions. I'm feeling frustrated because...
Not just, I'm fine.
Never, I'm fine. And also means mastering the language of repair. Apologizing to your kids when you mess up.
And what are the phrases we need to just retire?
Oh, the well-intentioned but dismissive ones. Don't cry, or everything's going to be okay.
They shut down the emotions.
They do. They train kids to suppress their feelings. Instead, you use open-ended questions. How are you feeling right now? How can I help you? Or just help me understand.
As we look at the legacy we want to leave, we have to remember we're not just inheriting wounds, we're also inheriting strength.
Yes, the intergenerational higher self. You have to look back and pull in that resilience, that wisdom. If you feel, say, crippling imposter syndrome, you can reframe it. It's not a personal failure. It might be an inheritance of marginalization from ancestors who had to hide to survive.
Wow, that's a powerful reframe.
It is. You are inheriting so much more than just the pain.
This perspective leads us to what the sources call the gold standard of breaking a cycle, the 1 second boundary.
This is it. This is the measurable sign that things are changing. It's the ability to consciously buy back just 1 second of reaction time.
1 second.
1 second. Research shows the brain recognizes a trigger in 250 milliseconds.
Yeah.
That extra time, that full second, is where you find agency and choice.
So you feel the wave start.
You feel it, you identify it, and then you get to consciously choose not to use the old trauma response. That 1 second changes everything.
So when you're preparing for a family gathering, how do you use this new power?
You have to know this. The environment will be the same, but you are different.
You're showing up with new tools.
New tools. And you have to use them before you even walk in the door, the breathing, the humming. Your piece has to be non-negotiable.
What about the nuance of estrangement? It seems more and more common.
It is. And permanent no contact is absolutely valid and necessary in situations of sustained abuse. Safety first. Always.
But in other cases?
In non-abusive situations, it's so important to first exhaust your own self-healing options. Estrangement really contributes to this modern loneliness epidemic. You should grieve the relationship you wish you had before you decide if you can tolerate a limited one.
If the listener only takes one thing away from our deep dive today, what is it?
It is the daily, conscious choice to commit to the journey. Every single day, you choose to show up for this. And if you backtrack, you don't judge yourself. You bring yourself back and recalibrate. That ongoing choice is everything.
This has been an extraordinary deep dive. The core benefits here are just so profound. Healing starts now. You can create a better legacy. And you can gain real power with that 1 second boundary.
And remember, your age does not determine the healing you are capable of. The goal isn't perfection. It's liberation. It's feeling free and allowing your relationships to finally become nurturing.
As you continue on this journey, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. As you heal your own nervous system, you will inevitably have to look in the mirror and recognize the ways you've been judgmental of others for making you feel a certain way. You'll realize the power was always in changing your own response. So ask yourself, what past judgment are you ready to let go of today to find your own calm?